The hum of the espresso machine faded as I carried the paper cup tray toward the elevator, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mixing with the crisp autumn air drifting through the lobby. Our apartment building in downtown Chicago was sleek and modern. A space I'd spent months renovating to Elise's exact specifications: marble countertops, floor-to-ceiling windows, a walk-in closet big enough for her growing collection of designer dresses. In 3 weeks, it would be the starting point of our wedding day, the place where she'd slip into her ivory lace gown and we'd walk to the riverside ballroom hand in hand. I smiled to myself, adjusting the tray anything for the woman I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. Elise had invited her bridesmaids over to try on their dresses that afternoon, and I'd offered to run out for coffee, wanting to give them space to gossip and giggle without a fiancé lingering. I'd been gone barely 20 minutes, but as I approached our door on the 12th floor, I noticed it was ajar, just a crack, but enough to let their voices spill into the hallway. I slowed my steps, about to push it open, when Elise's voice cut through. Sharp and unapologetic, "I'm only marrying him for his stable job and nice apartment. Once I save enough, I'll file for divorce." The tray in my hands felt suddenly heavy. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. This couldn't be right. Elise was the woman who'd cried when I proposed on the rooftop, who'd posted endless photos of our perfect love on Instagram, who'd gushed to anyone who'd listen about how lucky she was to have me. One of her bridesmaids, Mia, hesitated. "Elise, that's messed up. Grady's so good to you. He paid for the entire wedding, renovated this place just for you. Even turned down that promotion in New York so you wouldn't have to move." Elise laughed, a sound that once made my heart race but now felt like ice on my skin. "Good to me doesn't pay the bills or get me followers. He's boring, Mia. No sense of adventure, no passion, just a steady paycheck and a fancy address. But that's exactly what I need right now. With his money and this apartment as leverage, I can grow my blog, land bigger sponsorships, save up enough to go out on my own. Once I'm financially set, I'll find a reason to leave. Maybe say we grew apart, or that he's too focused on work. People will feel bad for me, and my brand will only get stronger." Another bridesmaid chimed in. "What about the divorce settlement? He owns the apartment outright." "Please," Elise scoffed. "I've been documenting every contribution I've made, picking out furniture, helping with renovations, even the meals I've cooked. My lawyer says I can get a decent chunk. And even if I don't, the exposure from being the wronged fiancé will be worth it. Grady's just a stepping stone." I stood there, the coffee growing cold in my hands, as a flood of memories crashed over me. The promotion in New York, I'd turned it down because Elise had sobbed, saying she couldn't bear to leave her blog's audience and her friends. The apartment, I'd bought it outright with my savings, let her pick every finish, even installed that ridiculous $5,000 chandelier she'd fallen in love with. The wedding, I'd let her blow $40,000 on a venue she'd seen on Pinterest, even though I'd suggested a smaller, more intimate gathering. I'd done everything to make her happy, convinced that love was about compromise and devotion. But all along, I'd just been a convenience, a means to an end. I didn't push the door open. I didn't yell or confront her. I just turned quietly, carried the tray back to the elevator, and pressed the button for the lobby. My mind was eerily calm, the initial shock giving way to a cold, sharp clarity. I'd wasted 2 years of my life on someone who didn't love me, someone who'd lied to my face, manipulated my feelings, and planned to discard me the second I was no longer useful. Down in the lobby, I set the coffee tray on a side table and pulled out my phone. First, I texted our wedding planner, "Clara, cancel all bookings for the wedding on November 12th. Full refund if possible, but I'll cover any penalties. Let me know what needs to be handled." She replied within minutes, confused, but I didn't elaborate. Next, I called the building's property management, requesting an emergency lock change effective immediately. I wasn't about to let Elise waltz into my apartment and claim anything that didn't belong to her. By the time I pulled back into the parking garage, my hands had stopped shaking. I took the stairs this time, avoiding the elevator, and let myself in with my key before the locksmith arrived. The bridesmaids were gone, their dresses no longer draped over the couch. Elise was sitting on the floor by the coffee table, scrolling through her phone, a half-empty glass of rose beside her. She looked up when I walked in, her face lighting up with a fake smile. "Baby, you're back. Did you get my usual oat milk latte?" The girls loved the apartment. They kept saying it's like a Pinterest dream. I didn't respond. I walked past her, straight to the bedroom, and pulled out a suitcase from the closet. Elise's smile faded. "Grady, what are you doing?" I started packing my clothes, suits, casual shirts, the old college hoodie she'd always teased me about, but I'd kept anyway. "What does it look like I'm doing?" I said, my voice steady, no trace of the heartbreak I felt. "Packing? Why? Is this some kind of joke? We're getting married in 3 weeks." She stood up, stepping into the bedroom, her tone rising. "Did something happen? Did Mia say something?" I told her not to. Mia didn't say anything. I cut her off. I zipped up the suitcase, then grabbed my laptop bag, sliding my work computer and documents inside. "You did?" Her face paled. "What are you talking about?" I didn't answer. I walked back to the living room, set the suitcase by the door, and placed a handwritten note on the coffee table where she'd be sure to see it. Stable jobs and nice apartments deserve someone who truly appreciates them, not just their convenience. Our engagement is over. Elise's eyes widened as she read it. She stumbled forward, grabbing my arm. "Grady, wait please. It's not what you think." I was joking. The girls were teasing me, and I got carried away. Joking? I pulled my arm free. "You talked about using my job, my apartment, my love as a way to build your brand. You planned to divorce me once you had enough money. That's not a joke, Elise. That's a lie. A lie you've been telling me for 2 years." Tears filled her eyes, not of sorrow, I realized, but of panic. "No, I love you. I do, I was stressed about the wedding and the blog, and I said something stupid. Please, let's talk about this. We can fix it." I shook my head. "There's nothing to fix. You don't love me. You love what I can give you. And I deserve better than that." I picked up my suitcase and laptop bag, pausing at the door. Elise was crying now, genuine tears this time, tears of loss, not love. "Grady, don't do this. I'll lose everything, my followers, my sponsors, my reputation. Please, that's on you," I said. "You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." With that, I walked out, closing the door behind me. I didn't look back. I checked into a hotel downtown, dropped my bags, and pulled out my phone. I blocked Elise on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, all the platforms where she'd built her perfect life with me. I deleted our joint Pinterest board for the wedding, unfollowed her bridesmaids, and sent a group text to our mutual friends. The wedding is off. I won't go into details, but I appreciate your understanding. Please don't ask questions. Most replied with condolences. A few, who'd always thought Elise was too good to be true, sent messages of support. My parents were shocked when I called them that night, but they didn't hesitate to stand by me. "We'd rather you be single and happy than married to someone who doesn't value you," my mom said, her voice soft but firm. My dad added, "You did the right thing, son. Loyalty and honesty matter more than any apartment or wedding." Over the next few days, I focused on tying up loose ends. Clara, the wedding planner, managed to get most of the deposits back, though I lost $8,000 on the venue and catering. I met with the locksmith to confirm the new locks, then went back to the apartment to retrieve the rest of my things while Elise was out. She'd left the note on the coffee table, crumpled and tear-stained, but I didn't care. I packed my books, my workout gear, the photos of my family, everything that mattered to me, and left her things untouched. 3 days later, I was settling into a new rental apartment when there was a knock on the door. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I peeked through the peephole and saw Elise. Her hair was a mess, her eyes red and puffy, wearing the sweatshirt she'd stolen from me months ago. I debated not answering, but something in me wanted to end this once and for all. I opened the door. "What do you want, Elise?" She burst into tears, throwing her arms around me. I stiffened, pushing her away gently. "Please, Grady, I'm so sorry. I was selfish and stupid and greedy. I didn't mean a word of what I said. I love you more than anything. I'll do anything to make it right. We can still get married. I'll delete my blog. I'll move to New York with you. I'll stop caring about followers and money. Just please take me back." She dropped to her knees, grabbing my hand. "I've lost everything. Grady, my sponsors dropped me when the wedding was canceled. They said my brand is damaged. My followers are calling me a liar. Mia and the girls won't talk to me. I have nothing without you. Please." I looked down at her, and for a moment, I felt a twinge of sympathy. But then I remembered the way she'd laughed at my devotion, the way she'd planned to use me, the way she'd never once asked about my day or cared about my dreams. Sympathy faded to indifference. "You're not sorry you said those things," I said, my voice calm. "You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry you lost the stable life and the fancy apartment. You don't love me, Elise. You love what I provided. I stepped back, closing the door halfway. I deserve someone who loves me for who I am, not what I can give them. Someone who's honest, who's loyal, who doesn't see me as a stepping stone. That someone isn't you. Her sobs grew louder. Grady, please, I'm not changing my mind. I pushed the door closed, cutting off her pleas. I leaned against it for a moment, listening as her cries faded down the hallway. Then I turned away, walking into my new apartment, a smaller space, but mine, filled with things that mattered, not just things that looked good on camera. In the months that followed, I threw myself into work. I took that promotion in New York, moving there 3 months later, and found a job that challenged and fulfilled me. I reconnected with old friends, went hiking on weekends, even took up cooking, something I'd always wanted to do but never had time for when I was catering to Elise's every need. I didn't date right away. I wanted to heal, to rediscover who I was without someone else's expectations weighing on me. I heard about Elise occasionally, through mutual acquaintances. She'd tried to restart her blog, but her reputation was ruined. Comments calling her gold digger and liar flooded every post. She'd moved back in with her parents, taken a part-time job at a cafe, and struggled to make ends meet. No one felt sorry for her. As for me, I found peace. I realized that love isn't about grand gestures or fancy apartments or perfect Instagram photos. It's about respect, honesty, and mutual devotion. It's about being with someone who sees you, not just what you can give them, and chooses you. Every single day. One evening I was sitting on my apartment balcony in New York, watching the sunset over the skyline when my phone buzzed. It was a text from a colleague, inviting me to a networking event. I smiled, typing back a yes. Maybe I'd meet someone new, maybe I wouldn't. Either way, I was happy, truly happy for the first time in a long while. Stable jobs and nice apartments are wonderful, but they're empty without someone to share them with who truly appreciates the person behind the success. Elise never understood that, but I did now. And that's the greatest lesson she ever taught me.